10 things you should never say to an American. Now, I'm intrigued here. I'm thinking it's probably got to be like one thing I would never say, and I think this is probably like a common sense approach, is never say anything that goes against like the constitutions, you know, the amendments and things like that, you know, free speech, etc. Like, because that's, you know, the cultural identity of the country. So to go over there, you know, as a foreigner and be like, oh, America shouldn't do this or do that, to me, it's just like, why would you even go there?
Seriously, how much money you make?
I told you, 70,000. Well, technically 72,000 last month, something like that.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down
Great
our
movie.
picks for the top 10 things you should never say to an American.
How much do you weigh?
About 108, I think.
For this list, we'll be looking at statements and questions to avoid when interacting with U.S. citizens, who could very well be shocked, disagreeable, or downright offended if these are said. Are there any big no-nos we missed? Sound off in the comments. Number 10. There's no such thing as American food.
Que say hamburger with a donut for a bun?
I mean, that's pretty crazy though. A donut hamburger. Wow. It's a lot of flavors.
Surely there is no God here.
It's no secret that fusion cuisine spans the U.S. The land of immigrants and diverse cultures has inevitably been shaped by a wide range of traditions. But listen, Americans do in fact have a lot of their own regional cuisines. Cajun, Tex-Mex, Pennsylvania Dutch, and soul food, to name a few. Influences from other nations have certainly been Americanized, but Americans would argue that they do have their own distinct food staples.
Peanut butter burger is one of my favorites here.
You wouldn't think the peanut butter and the burger would go great together, but man, what a combination it is.
Peanut butter burger. Man, have you tried one of those before? Just trying to imagine the flavors together, like peanut. I mean, it could work. I think as long as it's not too much peanut butter.
The hamburger is generally considered the national dish in America, a favorite regularly enjoyed at fast food establishments and all-American BBQs. If you challenge an American on where the hamburger originated, be ready for a debate.
You're getting the volume of a burger, the flavor of the bacon, the whole top of that patty is just all that crispy, crunchy, unctuous flavor. Then on the inside, it's super tender.
Number 9, colleges.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly, you know, American cuisine. The thing is, a lot of Europeans or whoever, they might like feel snobbish towards it, but I think they know deep down America has its own cuisines. They just might think theirs are superior.
So expensive.
Just try. I'll go to some ridiculously expensive college and let you buy me a car.
There's no need to say this. Americans are well aware. Though many agree that the cost of higher education is outrageously expensive, there's little they can do about it. It's a popular item on political agendas that have long been advocated for. Mention of this in a conversation will likely just make an American angry about something they've already been annoyed with for decades. They've taken out massive student loans, paid the overpriced tuitions, and students have complained about it extensively amongst themselves.
I spent 200 grand on higher education and I still haven't figured it out.
200
grand?
grand? Your parents must be pissed.
Nope, all student loans.
They'd love to enjoy the affordability that exists in Norway and Sweden. So, unless that happens, don't remind them of how much they're paying.
Thanks for lying.
You like lies? Here's a few. College is expensive, but it's worth it.
Number 8.
Can it really cost $200,000 to go to college in America? Like, that is a lot of money, man. Oh my goodness. I'm guessing that includes everything like tuition, accommodation, food, you know, books, stationery, that's everything, right?
That's not real football.
Did you know some historians think American football is based on an ancient Aztec game? It's not American football, it's just football.
The debate surrounding soccer versus football will likely rage on forever. If there's one thing Americans unitedly agree on, it's that football means throwing around a pigskin. They never refer to kicking a ball as football. That's soccer. Though soccer is a popular sport in America, it's generally not as beloved as it is by diehard European football fans.
No, I have never coached the sport that you folks call football. At any level. Jesus. And heck, you could fill 2 internets with what I don't know about football.
American football is the nation's favorite, and citizens are quite passionate about their teams. Americans will probably laugh at you if you try to compare the same named sports, and they won't be happy if you question their hardcore fandom. American football is rooted in the culture, so minimizing its significance won't be received well.
Expect you boys to play football.
Yes, sir.
Clear eyes, full hearts, can't lose.
Number 7.
But with football, American football, you don't really kick it that much. Only the kicker kicks it. Whereas in our football, we kick it. That's how you move the ball. So it's just interesting that it's called football when you don't really kick it. Do you see what I mean? Like, why is it called football as opposed to, I don't know, handball?
Evan, do I have to tip?
Come on, throw in a buck.
I don't tip.
You don't tip?
No, I don't believe in it.
This question will always be answered with a resounding yes. You absolutely must tip at pretty much any establishment where a service is being provided. Unlike in European countries, tipping is habitual standard practice in the US. Failure to do so will be met with shock from employees and glares from Americans you might be dining with.
Let me just get this straight. You don't ever tip, huh?
I don't tip because society says I have to. All right, I mean, I'll tip if somebody really deserves a tip. If they really put forth the effort, I'll give them something extra. But I mean, this tipping automatically, it's for the birds.
These workers are already underpaid as it is, so many not.
But why don't they get paid more? Like, someone told me once that a waiter in America can make like $2.50 an hour as their basic rate. Like, that should be illegal, don't you think? Like, I know that the tipping, I'm not saying we should stop tipping, but why is it legal for bosses to pay like $2-3 an hour just because they know that they're going to get tips on top? So don't you see how that's kind of messed up?
Not only expect tips, but rely on them as part of their income. Unless you want to look cheap or rude in public, avoid this question at all costs and be prepared to engage in this customary show of respect.
You don't care they're counting on your tips to live? You know what this is? It's the world's smallest violin playing just for the waitresses.
Number 6, how much do you weigh?
Ask Jeff if he'll give you his weight.
You're not going to give me your weight?
She doesn't even know how much I weigh.
Asking this will likely get you scolded or condemned. While commenting on someone's weight is not as offensive overseas, it's a rather touchy subject in the US. In addition to the number on the scale being regarded as personal knowledge, different and diverse beauty standards exist in America.
But are you still losing? Wait, are you still losing weight?
Are we on a first date?
Just curious.
Am I? Well, I don't know. I guess it depends.
Are you gay?
Movements to accept and embrace body diversity are prevalent, so refraining from discussing weight has become a way to not offend anyone.
Wow, is it really that like sensitive a topic? You know, weight. I mean, for me, it's probably not, but I suppose for different people, like especially if you're self-conscious about your body shape, I can see why it would be like you wouldn't want to answer.
Regardless of whether you think them too small or too large. Inquiring about this sensitive matter is a surefire way to piss off an American, so it's best to keep rudely perceived questions and comments to yourself.
I'd rather be dead in the Sea of Cortez than have you know what I weigh.
I don't want your weights. The captain wants them. Who's going to disobey a captain?
Number 5, Americans are overly patriotic.
Good morning, USA. I got a feeling that it's gonna be a wonderful day.
The flag, the national anthem, the 4th of July, soaring eagles, all encompass and symbolize American patriotism and deep-rooted values of a free collective identity. Symbols might be just that in other countries, but Americans take their meaning and significance especially seriously.
America, America.
Great movie. I think I reacted to this like a couple of years ago. It was hilarious.
Since winning the Revolutionary War, many citizens have maintained a strong sense of nationality, even through cultural movements and attempts to drive social change. As such, it's safer to avoid criticisms of patriotic displays that might appear to be over the top, even if some Americans secretly agree with you. It's essentially a lose-lose, where you could either offend somebody who doesn't care or offend someone who does.
And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday.
Number 4.
I quite like the patriotism that Americans have. I do think that, people should be proud of where they're from. Like, obviously no country's perfect and every country's going to have its haters, but being proud of where you're from, where you were raised, the place that gave you the opportunities that you have and stuff like that, I think is a good thing on the whole.
How much money do you make?
Understand how much money you make?
I don't know, 70,000 last month.
In the US, money is kind of taboo, especially in discussions around citizen salaries. This is something that's more openly talked about elsewhere.
Such a great movie. This might be, honestly, Scorsese, for me, my favorite Scorsese movie. I know people are going to be like Goodfellas, Casino, great movies, but I really enjoyed this one from start to finish.
Whereas Americans are more tight-lipped on the matter. Similarly to inquiring about someone's weight, income is understood to be personal.
I get $50,000 a hit. How much do you make?
I just get to keep whatever's in the guy's wallet.
It's sort of an unspoken rule of etiquette amongst the population that everyone's intimate financial details are only theirs to know, and others should respect that. Some employers even have implied or written pay secrecy policies in place, which discourage talk of employee pay. With this
I think this is bad, though. I think they do this to keep people, you know, from earning what they could earn. Like by stigmatizing talking about salary, you're basically keeping it so hush-hush that people never know if their colleague is making 20-30% more. I think we should openly talk about salary. You know, I really do. I think this is a big reason why people aren't being paid what they deserve or what they, you know, should be paid.
Standing ingrained in the minds of Americans, one would benefit from limiting work conversations to careers, excluding salaries.
You took a cab?
Yeah? So?
How much do you make?
I'm telling you.
Come on.
No.
Number 3. Your measurement system is crazy.
I mean, America, you guys have your own thing, the imperial system, you know? On my side of the world, we use the metric system, and by my side, I mean the rest of the world.
Though it's used by pretty much the rest of the world, the metric system isn't used by Americans. So talk of kilometers or anything of that sort will probably be met with blank stares. The US has a more complex and confusing imperial system that is unique to the nation.
Can you explain to me?
Yes.
How the country that can send men and hopefully women to the moon
Yeah, all and beyond.
still are in gallons and inches.
Many Americans would likely admit that the metric system is superior in terms of efficiency, but its adoption is unlikely in the US. With that said, you're better off trying to conceptualize measurements with Americans by reverting to descriptions that they would understand. It's about 3 football fields long would certainly get your point across.
One of the great things about Americans is we won't change no matter how good it would be for us.
Number 2.
Like the gallons and how many gallons are in how many quarts are in a gallon, how many inches are in a yard, you know, how many yards are in a mile. They're not clean numbers, if you know what I mean. Whereas, you know, 100 centimeters makes a meter, 1,000 meters makes a kilometer, you know?
Capitalism sucks.
Capitalism is the only way, Leslie. It moves our country forward. It's what makes America great, and England okay, and France terrible.
Capitalism is a founding principle of American culture that has evolved into an ideology. It is the system that dominates both major political parties, as free markets and privatization are solid fixtures in American society. Regardless of whether an American is pro or anti-capitalist, the economic subject is touchy and shouldn't be casually introduced in conversation.
You're going to be convinced of that till next month when you get to James Lemon. Then you're going to be talking about how the economies of Virginia and Pennsylvania were entrepreneurial and capitalist way back in 1740.
Doing so will most likely spark a heated debate that brings the idea of equally contentious socialism into the mix.
Yeah, this is probably one that you just wouldn't touch with a barge pole. I wouldn't talk about that one.
Americans of varying ages have strong feelings about the economic system on both ends of the spectrum, so steering clear of it altogether is your best bet.
Hey, fellas! Look what I found in my pocket! Look! A year's salary right here! What I call them? Fun coupons!
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into Settings and switch on your notifications. Number 1, America isn't the greatest country on earth.
Can you say why America is the greatest country in the world?
There's that long-standing idea that America is the promised land, the greatest nation. Nowadays, some might disagree, but it's safer to just avoid saying this. Considering the reputation America's gained, it's no surprise that citizens have tendencies to get defensive when its superiority is questioned, or, on the other hand, passionately criticize it.
Do you believe the United States is the greatest country in the world?
Yes.
A popular insult thrown around when people go against the idea is the common, "Go back to your country if you don't like it," which no one wants to hear. You don't have to say America is the greatest, but never express alternative opinions unless you're up for potential confrontation. If you say it, you could also hear something like this.
First step in solving any problem is recognizing there is one. America is not the greatest country in the world anymore.
Did you enjoy this video?
Great video. I mean, to be fair, like all of these, I would hope are sort of common sense. It's a weird one for me because I do think we should be able to talk about anything as civilized people and not have it blow up into an argument. You know, we should be able to discuss, you know, even the most sensitive topics, because then you can come to sort of compromises and things like that. You can make breakthroughs. I do think salary for sure should be discussed more, for sure, because this is how you find out that you're being paid 40% less than your mate who you sit next to and do the same job. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.